Well, hello everyone. How are you doing? I hope that your month of March was a very good month, and I'm excited to do a little roundup with you guys. I like to do these at the end of every month to talk to you about stuff that I am ready to review. A lot of times it's newer stuff that's come into my life, and sometimes it's just stuff that I realized I haven't reviewed on my channel before, but I've been using for a long time. I think everything in my little pile to review here is relatively newish to my channel, however. So I cannot wait to tell you about it. I have some really good things in here. Before I get started, I have to tell you about my tea of the day. It's actually one of my very favorite teas of all time. I've been drinking it, I think, for over 10 years at this point. I am kind of addicted. So this is from a brand called Verdant Tea. I really like Verdant Tea because they work with small family farms in China. And this particular one is called Laoshan Black Tea. It's got kind of a chocolatey, sweet potato-y flavor, like really good like cocoa scent notes to it. And it's one of those teas that can be steeped over and over and over again. Super high quality. I might need to pause filming and go get a refill of this. But okay, let's get started. Let's talk about this bronzer. So this is the very popular Makeup Revolution cream bronzer that came out. So a friend of mine loves this bronzer. She picked up every shade for herself. This light shade, I believe it is the lightest shade, was a little too light for her. She asked if I wanted to try it, and of course I did, because it's been so popular, talked about so much. One thing to note, it's kind of hard to open. There we go. So it is a cream, and it's actually quite pigmented. I use a very light hand. I'm just barely swirling my finger in there. I use a very light hand. I like the shade. It's not orangey. It's just a true kind of light tan. And I did very light-handedly use this as my bronzer today. And I've got to tell you, even the very first time when I tried it and I used too much, which that was in my first try-on video if you guys want to see that, it still blended out beautifully. I was so impressed with the formula. And again, today when I used it, it blends out so prettily. In fact, however, that very first time when I tried it, I finished filming and I was just thinking to myself, I was like, oh, I just love how that looks. And I was like, wait a second, it melted so beautifully. Let me look at the ingredient list. And yes, it has straight up coconut oil in it, which usually I try to avoid in makeup products. I guess I'm going to forgive it with this bronzer. I just love it so much. I just will be careful to not use it too often. I know I've said this before, but in case you haven't heard it before, coconut oil can exacerbate people with acne-prone skin. But for other people, it can be very soothing to their skin. So it seems to be very personal about whether or not coconut oil is good for skin or not. In my case, it hasn't made me break out yet. I will be paying attention for sure. Another thing to mention is it does have a scent. Pineapple, I believe. I wouldn't say it's super strong, but it's definitely present. So if you're sensitive to scents, I thought I would mention it. I do think that this one is worth the hype. I think it is absolutely lovely. And I'm so thankful to my friend for giving this to me to try out. So thank you so much. You know who you are. Let's talk about a mascara. So the Milani Antigravity mascara is the mascara I've been testing for the past month or two. I am wearing it today. I think it looks so nice. And this is one of those mascaras that gets better with time. The first couple of weeks are pretty meh, and then it gets better and better and better. So if you have recently purchased this and you're kind of like, oh, it's not good at all, just give it a little more time. I think that today is one of the nicest it's ever looked on my eyelashes, and it's been open for a month and a half, close to 2 months at this point. So I did do a whole video talking about this, so I don't want to go on about it too much, but I will quick show you the wand. Looks like this, kind of like an hourglass wand. I find it wears pretty well. By the end of the day, I will have some flaking, which is pretty normal for me with mascara, but I don't think that this smudges, which is really fantastic. And I think I get decent length and good volume, so I think it's a great mascara. I will continue to use it. It doesn't knock out my favorites, but I still do really like it. Moving on to something else from Milani, I finally tried this very famous blush from Milani. So this is their Baked Powder Blush in the shade Luminoso. Do I even need to review this? Like, I don't know if I do. In case you're like me though, and you haven't ever tried these, I was actually really impressed with the formula of this. It's a baked blush formula. It's very silky smooth, really flattering on the skin, even though it does have some radiance to it. It's not glittery, and the formula is just so thin. I love the way it lays on the skin, and I found it to be very flattering. It made me want to try all the other shades. I know I'm literally like 15 years behind everybody else with this blush, but I'm glad that I finally tried it. I'm really happy to have it in my collection. This is another one where the hype is real. This is really, really good. Let's talk about another blush. So another gift from a friend. So this is one of the mini blushes from Benefit. They're new blushes. So this is the shade Shellie, and I have been trying it out for the past couple of months. So Shellie is a soft pink. So that's what it looks like there. I think it is a very pretty spring-like color. I like these blushes because they're very buildable. When you first go in with a brush and put it on, you're not going to get too much. I know that some people prefer a very, very pigmented blush. I can enjoy both. I can really appreciate a blush that doesn't smack you with too much pigment at once. And even when built up, I think that it is just really, really kind of natural looking, honestly, on the skin. It does have a very pretty radiance, but again, no glitter. I find that I personally am not a big fan of the way Benefit blushes smell. I know that a lot of people really like it, but to me, I'm just kind of like, I could do without it. Thankfully, this one doesn't seem to be as scented as others that I have smelled in the past. Yeah, I just think that's so beautiful. I love how it's not flat on my skin. It has good dimension to it. It's very pretty. Thank you to my friend. I was so happy to have one of these new little mini Benefit blushes. So cute. I do have a couple more blushes to talk about. Well, let's circle around back to those. Let's talk about something different. Let's talk about an eyeshadow palette. The one that I'm wearing on my eyes today, I have been testing all month. So pretty. So I finally picked up one of the M Cosmetics Divine Skies palettes. I've been wanting one of these for 2 to 3 years, maybe more at this point. This one that I picked up is in the shade Rodin, which is one of their neutral 6 pans. There are a few different formulas in the 6 pan. Let's start first with the mattes. I do think that the mattes are the best part of these palettes, at least this palette. I'm assuming it has the same formula in their other palettes. The formula is so silky smooth. Like, it's noticeably nice. I feel like so many eyeshadow companies, the eyeshadow game is way up. So a lot of times they're all nice, but this one I actually felt was noticeably nicer than many that I have tried. Just so silky smooth, so blendable, so buildable. They have that really, really nice kind of in-between pigmentation where you get decent pigmentation, but it's not going to hit you with too much at once. If you want more, you can easily build it up. They blend beautifully together. Like, there's nothing stressful about working with these mattes. They just are so pretty. Today, I used this warmer shade through my crease, and then I used this darker one just like kind of along my lash line. Talking about some of the other formulas in there, it does have one twinkle shade, which is the one that I have dusted all over my lid today. I think it's actually really, really pretty. It's one of those shades that you put on, you're like, did it do anything? And then you kind of go like that in the light and you go, oh yes, yes it did. So it's not like a high impact glitter like a Pat McGrath glitter or anything, but it is a very pretty twinkle shade. And I have used it with both my finger and with a brush, and I like both. It turned out nice with both. And I like this shade. It's kind of peachy. So I tend to enjoy peachy shades like that. We also have just kind of a soft champagne here, which I have in my inner corner. I personally could have done with that being a little bit more bright. It's a little too close to my skin tone personally, but it's still, you know, it's fine. I can use it. This shade over here, really, really pretty, kind of all over the eye brown shade. Look at that. Oh, that is so pretty. Has a lot of pigment to it. Let me quick give you swatches of all these shades. So you can see that twinkle shade there on the top. When you swatch it, it doesn't really look like anything. I feel like you really have to put it on your eye to notice the beautiful wet looking effect that it has. So that is, you know, again, doesn't swatch well, but very pretty. But look at that brown, that beautiful rich brown. That is a beautiful one and done. All over the lid, just blend it out all by itself, and you're done. One thing that I really appreciate about this particular 6 pan is that it gives you the option for a warm or a more neutral to cool eye. So that's typically the way I build my look with this one. I either choose if I'm gonna go warm or more cool to neutral and go from there. I appreciate a little condensed pan like, or eyeshadow palette like this. I think it's very nice. I do think that full price, they are a little bit overpriced. Just a little bit. I feel that way about a lot of M Cosmetics stuff. It's all nice, but a bit overpriced in my opinion. I usually buy from them during a sale, which this was on sale in February, which is when I grabbed it. So Do I like it enough to want other palettes? Yes, I do. I think it's lovely. Have you tried these little palettes from M Cosmetics? What do you think of them? I tried a little single eyeshadow from Pat McGrath. So a friend of mine was at TJ Maxx. She texted me. She's like, "There's Pat McGrath singles." I had her grab me one. So this particular one is the shade Rose Venus. And I've never tried a single shadow from Pat McGrath before, so this is not like one of her special shades. This is just a beautiful metallic. This particular shade, very, very pretty. It's more on the warm, we'll see how much pigment that had. Like, I did not go in very hard with my finger, and I picked up so much eyeshadow. It is very, very pretty. This particular rosy pink, I really like as a single eyeshadow, but I have to be kind of careful with it. It can pull kind of warm, but it does have some sparkles running through it. It's not just a plain metallic, and it makes it a really beautiful one and done shadow. So while I personally wouldn't pay full price for a single like this from Pat McGrath, I'm happy I managed to find one at TJ Maxx for a very affordable price, and I will use it. It's a shade that I really enjoy using. I also enjoy the little magnetic closure. Let's come back to blush. So something else I've been wanting to try for years, and I finally grabbed one during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. So I've been testing this. I just recently got this in the mail, but I've been testing it enough that I feel like I can review it. So this is the Nudies Matte Luxe All Over Face Blush Color from Nudestix. I have the shade Nude Buff. I find that I have a very serious weakness for colors like this. Kind of a nudie rose color. Oh, it's so beautiful. This is the color I'm wearing today. I find that it can go with many, many different looks. It's one of those things that just goes with everything. And the formula is lovely. Like, you always hear people say that Nudestix has a great cream blush formula. Oh, it's so pretty. It is so nice. The reason why it's so nice, let's see. So it is matte, but it's not flat matte. Like, it doesn't look boring on your skin. The way that it blends out, it's really, really easy to blend out. Like, I tend to use it like a brush first, pick it up, and then put it on, but I did test it by just kind of drawing it on my face and then buffing it out. Either way, it works easily. You're not going to sit there forever trying to blend out your blush. It's very, very easy peasy. I do think it's overpriced, but I got mine on sale again. So whenever there's another sale, I'll probably grab another one. I think it's really, really nice. So in comparison to other stick blush formulas that I've tried, I think it's much nicer than the one from Colourpop. I like the one from Colourpop, the blush sticks, but this one definitely has a smoother, more blendable formula. In comparison to the one from M Cosmetics, I would say that they're both very nice. M Cosmetics, however, does have a softer formula. I mean, it is called the So Soft blush. It's probably like the softest blush I've ever tried, but they definitely don't dupe each other. I would say I like each other just as much. They're both very nice. But from the second I tried it, I knew it was gonna go in like my everyday blush category in my mind, just because of the color and the way it blended out. I love it. Are we surprised to have another blush to talk about? Not me. I love blush. So this month I tried another very classic blush. This one from Covergirl. This is in the shade Soft Mink. So the very first thing that I noticed when you get this, the packaging is like taken apart and you have to like put it together. So that's one thing that I actually struggled with. Putting things together, not my forte. But anyway, when you finally get it put together, the way it works, you press this little button, it pops open. The very first thing I noticed was the scent. It's very, very strongly scented with like I don't even know how to describe it, kind of a powdery, classic drugstore makeup smell. It comes with a nice mirror and a brush, which I personally would use in a pinch, but not something that I, reach for all the time. But the actual blush shade is so beautiful. It's actually very glowy, this particular shade. Look at how glowy it is. I don't need to use a highlighter when I use this one. So the particular shade of it though is just like a really pretty everyday pink. And when I turn my hand, you can see that it does have some nice base pigment to it. But then again, look at that. It is quite glowy. I really like this. I think it's a beautiful everyday blush. And I'm so happy I tried it. So happy that so many people recommended it as a classic drugstore product. I feel like there's probably other classic drugstore things out there that are just that good that I haven't tried yet. Obviously these two blushes, I hadn't tried them. Amazing. If there's some other like super amazing drugstore thing that has been out for years, that is one of your favorites, please let me know down below. If I haven't tried it, I would love to try them. If you can handle a scent, like that powdery drugstore scent, I would highly recommend these, especially if you like a glowy blush. I think it is just beautiful. Okay, only 2 things left. One more eyeshadow palette. So from Revlon, I tried their baked eyeshadows. They call these the So Fierce Prismatic palettes, and I picked up the shade Slight Flex. So these are, again, like I said, all baked shadows, and I have been playing with this quite a bit, and I have been really liking it, especially this shade over here on the end. This is a duochrome. Look at it. It is so pretty. Quick, just give you some swatches. I don't know why I sang that, but it made me so happy. Oh, they're so pretty. So I don't know if you can tell from the swatches, but they are like this beautiful kind of satin formula. They're not intensely pigmented. I know some people prefer really, really pigmented shadows, but this particular formula, even though I would call it like soft shadows, I still don't think they're lacking in pigment. This rosy shade, when I put that all over my lid and really blend it out, it's the most beautiful single shadow. So beautiful. And this duochrome, oh, it looks very, very wet looking on the lid if you enjoy that type of look, but it doesn't have like intense micro sparkles running through it. It's just so beautiful. This type of formula is very, very flattering on the eyelid. It doesn't highlight texture. It makes your eyelid look very smooth and just kind of hydrated looking. So pretty. I'm so happy I tried this. And I don't know how long they're gonna be sticking around. Of course, I picked it up right when I think they're getting discontinued. Some people told me they saw them on discount. So if you've been wanting to try one of these, now might be the time to grab them before they're gone. And the last thing, so I tried a lip gloss from Kaja. So this is their Gloss Shot. I think it's called Gloss Shot. Yeah, and I have the shade Pink Drink here. I couldn't wear it today. It didn't really go with the color scheme I was wearing, but the very first time I put this on my lips, I was just instantly in love with it, because this is the type of gloss formula that I look for. It can be kind of hard to find, but it's becoming more popular. It's a little bit more like a liquid lip balm. It has a bit more heft to it. Like, I don't want to make it sound thick and gloopy, but it does have a little bit more thickness to it. It feels plush and cushiony on the lips. Think of like the Rare Beauty glosses or the lip oils from Beauty Pie. So the wand has kind of a curved scoopy wand, and the color Pink Drink is just a soft pink. Made my lips look so shiny, so plumped up, even though it's not a plumping formula. That cushy, shiny formula does make your lips look bigger. Okay, sorry if the camera's in a slightly different position. I do film on my phone, and my husband called me, so sorry if it's a little different. Anyway, I was talking about this gloss from Kaja. It smells cupcakes, maybe vanilla pudding. Anyway, it's delicious. Well, it smells delicious. I haven't eaten it, which, you know, to avoid. It's beautiful. I love it. All right, so those were the products I was ready to review for you guys. If you have tried these, as always, please let us all know down in the comment section what is your review of these products. We all benefit from sharing these reviews to know if a product is good for us or not. So thank you so much for participating. And thank you guys so much for watching. I have so much fun doing these videos, so I really appreciate you guys supporting my channel and watching. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye, guys.